Is it time to start rethinking what classic tracks are and to whom now that we are in the first quarter of the 21st century? And what does that have to do with anything? Before we go any further, hi, I'm Brian. Welcome to the channel. I need to apologize for the noise you're going to hear in the background. It is 3 degrees outside here in Wisconsin, so I can't turn the heat off. So, anyway. Without going into a lot of explanation here, I was thinking about some of the audiences I'm playing for at bars and clubs. They're in their 20s and 30s, and they ask for songs that they just love. But they're not new songs, they're like 20 years old. They're the classic songs for that generation. There are other audiences that I play for that are older. Maybe I'm at a wedding or something, and maybe they're 50, 60, whatever. They would not respond the same way to those particular songs. So maybe we need to start thinking about classics in 3 different categories. Or start in 3 different categories. And some of us can do virtual folders for this, and I think it might be helpful. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's talk about classics for old people. Universal classics and classics for young people. What if we did it like that? Let me throw some examples out there. The Killers' Mr. Brightside. Is that a universal classic? Is it for older people or younger people? I'd argue that one would be a classic for younger people. Maybe I make a folder and I put that track in there. How about a song like Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees? Yeah, absolutely. The older people are gonna dig that track. The younger people might, so maybe we put that one in a universal classic folder and an old people classic folder. How about a track like Celebration by Kool and the Gang? Maybe younger people would dig it, but I don't know that it's a universal classic. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Maybe I would just put that one in the old people classics folder. How about Come On Eileen, Dixie's Midnight Runners? I think young people like that song too. I don't know why they do, but they do, so maybe that's a universal classic. How about a song like Usher's Yeah? It's 2005. That's a 20-year-old song. It may not feel that way to some of us older DJs, but it's an older track. If somebody is 25 years old, they were 5 years old when that song came out. That's crazy. I would consider that a newer classic. What else could we talk about? What about Everybody, Backstreet Boys? That song actually goes back to the late 90s, and I'm almost thinking I'm going to put that in a universal classic at this point. I'm thinking maybe it belongs there. It could go in any of the folders. It's up to you. It's how you're interpreting things and what your audience is responding to. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You know? You Spin Me Around, Dead or Alive. Maybe that's an older person classic. Or maybe it's a universal. I don't know. What are you experiencing with that? Just stuff to think about. When you look at things like the big songs that happened in 2024, there weren't a lot of them. I mean, there weren't a lot of mainstream big bangers that you're going to play as a mobile DJ. They just don't exist. Hot to Go was the big one, right? There are a couple others that people enjoy, the Shabuzi song, but there wasn't a lot. I mean, you could count them on one hand. The tracks that you're going to be playing this year from last year that are going to stick around maybe. It's not like, I don't know, 20 years ago. There were tons of songs you could be playing that were brand new. There was all kinds of stuff. If you look at the charts from 20 years ago, you're still playing a lot of those songs today. A lot of them. And you were playing even more back then. But some stuck, and you're still playing them. Those are the newer classics. But yeah, I think it's important to think about who you're playing for and what's a classic to them and what's not a classic to them. What's universal. And you'll find a lot of the universal classics if you look at things like the Mobile Beat Top 200. There's a whole bunch of universal classics on that one. Like Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That to me would be a universal classic. Any of the line dance songs. Well, most of the line dance songs, I would say that Electric Boogie would be an older classic, and then maybe the Cha-Cha Slide and the Cupid Shuffle and even Wobble would be like maybe a newer classic. I don't know that I would consider those universal. I think you lose a lot of old folks with those songs. I just did a video on line dance stuff, I don't know, a few videos ago. You can have a look at it if you want, how I do it and why I do it the way I do it, and how I get older people involved with the line dances from the 21st century. Have a look at that if you want. But anyway, just something I was thinking about. What do you think? Do you think it's worth making a new classics folder for a newer audience and an old classics folder for the older audiences, and then even a universal classics folder? These are virtual folders and things like Virtual DJ and Serato. They're not, hard copies of anything. It's just a reference point, something to look at. If you've got that audience in front of you and you want to play something for them, just go to it. You can pick those tracks and you don't have to wonder, is this too old? Or, is this too new? If you sort them out right, I think that you might be onto something. And you're not limiting yourself to just universal classics that way. You can go a little deeper with the older stuff and the newer stuff if you sort it out properly. You don't have to second guess yourself too much. You can play Moni for the older crowd. Play for the newer crowd, you're going to get mixed results. Anyway, that's it. Quick video for you today. Thanks for watching. Stay warm. We'll talk to you soon. Practice and enjoy.